Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show. I'm Joe, your host, and tonight I have the distinct pleasure of smoking with you a cigar from one of the oldest pre-revolution brands still in existence today, the undisputed king of the world, El Rey Del Mundo. This is the Choix de L'epoque, one of the 9 regional edition cigars released for the brand thus far, and this one in particular is for the United Kingdom, Reinos Unidos, and distributed by Hunters and Francow. These cigars come in dress boxes of 25 and were released in 2009. The particular date on this box is August 2009, and it is a beautiful box. I believe that's probably the month where they first started making these, as this is actually box number 11 out of 2000. It is the lowest number regional edition box I've ever received out of all the regional editions I've bought, and there have been quite a few. I find that nice. I think it's nice to have the earlier ones, although sometimes the earlier ones aren't as good as the later ones, but these are fantastic. This is also one of the very few regional editions of which I actually purchased a second box, the entire first one being gone already. I can't stop smoking them. This vitola is 52 ring gauge by 4.3 inches. It's factory shape Pt1 Mundo and is standard shape Petit Robusto, a short but plump little smoke. One thing I'd like to say is, and this is my opinion, one of the nice things about keeping cigars together in their own box as such is that over time you get the most wonderful aroma. The aroma really, sometimes it actually fades depending on if the cigar is good, bad, the conditions, but the aroma on these cigars has just developed so much. The bouquet has just flourished. And a lot of that can really be lost when you have a lot of singles together in a humidor. Depending on the brand of humidor, sometimes the cedar from the humidor can actually overpower the aroma of the cigars. Other times the aroma is simply just lost in the mix of all different cigars. Look at there's a little, so you see that? You see that little, that's not, there's no mold on the cigar. I don't know how it's coming up on the camera. That little haze on the very edge of the cigar, the right edge there, it's called plume. That's crystally plume. That is not mold. There's no, you can see, there's no mold on this cigar here. But there's just this little crystally plume. Look at the foot of that. Beautiful. And tubar, you see those, the way it's not spiral at all, it's all just random. You have those channels there, those little holes from the way the tobacco is rolled just right. That's a beautiful cigar, man. That is a beautiful cigar. That's just gorgeous. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, the aroma on these is just unbelievable. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. And that's just to get this, I mean, I can smell it from looking in the room, but just to get close and into it. Oh, that is some delicious smelling tobacco. That is some delicious smelling tobacco. Hey, this, by the way, these little lithograph, this brand is actually credited with creating these for dress boxes. Anyway, on with the show. Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show. I'm Joe, as you probably already know if you've been watching for some time now. And today we have a very special episode for you. And it dawns on me that, you know what, I pretty much say that about every episode before we start rolling and everything. But the truth is that when I sit down and spend time at the computer and in my humidor and among a bunch of books and get all my notes together and get all the content ready and then read through it and get ready to actually record, it dawns on me that, wow, there's actually a lot of pretty cool stuff here. You know, this is going to be a pretty good video. And therefore, I'm always really excited to get into all that content by the time I sit down, which is a good thing. So it is, in a way, it is a special episode. But this time, beyond all that, it's special for some other reasons too. Before that, it is going to be hard to top the last episode, which was number 16, the Monte Cristo number 2, being that while we not only reviewed one of the most popular cigars in the world by the most popular cigar brand in the world, we also went over the long-awaited good vendor, bad vendor checklist, where we gave you lists of vendors, who to buy from, who not to buy from, who to go to, who to stay away from, and how to tell the difference. We went over a list of really good things to look out for while buying. And aside from all of that, we even got into a few things that I never really meant to talk about, but the issues came up anyway, and that is the embargo. And it surprised me to see that there were quite a few people actually who really liked that segment and who were very interested in the history, or even just the talking about the embargo as an issue, as, you know, if it were lifted, you know, you have two sides of people. It is going to be lifted, it ain't going to be lifted, you know, and then you have those two sides arguing. And then, of course, you have all the history in the middle, which makes it a really cool topic. So, all that being said, this is going to be a special episode with a very special cigar, which I've chosen for a reason, for two primary reasons. Number one, for me, it's the first day of spring. Not by calendar standards, but for me it is. Why? Because it is the first day that is over 50 degrees out and the sun is shining, and tonight the clocks get set back. So for me, that makes it an official marker that I can remember rather than just some number. Doesn't really matter. I don't care about it. All I care is that it's over 50 degrees. Awesome. But for some reason, the oil burner doesn't think so. Unbelievable. Right on cue, right? Right on cue. Show is great. The only thing missing is a recording studio. So our first reason it's a special episode, it's spring, and it's a springtime episode, our first springtime episode, good weather, great smoking weather. Spring is the best time of year to smoke. The best. You know, it's even better than autumn, because autumn it can get very, very windy. You can have some wind and rain in the spring and everything, but when it's nice out, it's perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too humid, it's not too dry. It's just perfect smoking weather. For me, I've had the best cigars of my life during the spring outside. So there's that. The second reason, and this is not going to make you bounce out of your chair, but in a way, it's very important. I have finally procured a means of employment. Yay, Dr. Joe, yay. And people are like, oh, who gives a fuck? I mean, that has nothing to do with this show. But it does. Because employment equals more money equals more cigars equals more Dr. Joe show. And better cigars. However, on the other side, you have employment equals work equals less time equals less Dr. Joe show. But I assure you, I will do my best to find a very happy medium where we will smoke some great cigars and show off some very interesting products and create the best episodes we possibly can. When I look at the old episodes, and even the episodes that just came out when I first came back, and then the last few episodes, personally, I see a progression in quality. I don't know about you, but I do. And I think it's getting better. And with more money to put into the show, it can only get that much better. I know we're going to be having some great new cigars to review, some new cigar collectibles we haven't done in a while, some new jars, some very special ones, some that you may not have even seen on the internet at this point, and possibly some very, very nice vintage cigars that may or may not be given from a very generous source. We'll see. And when I say vintage, I mean vintage. I don't mean like our H. Upmann 7-year-old. I mean like 17, 18-year-old cigars that probably will be dynamite. Who knows? I mean, they could be dead. You never know with a vintage cigar. I'm sure if this person is sending them that they will be fantastic, but we shall see if that happens. So that's the second reason. The third reason, the third and final reason, and believe it or not, this is the one I am most excited about, is that today, this Sunday in March, the Dr. Joe Show has finally broken, and I shouldn't say the Dr. Joe Show, I should say you guys, because you guys finally broke 500 viewers. Woo-hoo! And it's kind of funny because 2 days ago it was like up and down. It was like 497. I was like, oh, come on, 498. Then it went. Somebody dropped off. It went to 497. Then it went to 498. Then 499. Somebody dropped off. It was driving me nuts. This morning I woke up and I went to upload the next part of our last non-Cuban episode, and bang, right on the dot, 500. And actually, at the point of recording this, the same day at night, we're actually up to, I think it's 503 now. And that makes me very excited. Now, I know, I've been on the internet a long time, not just with the Dr. Joe Show. Some of you know that I also have done a lot of stuff with custom knives. Not videos per se, but a lot in the sales department and or collectible department. And I've been on the internet a good long time, and I know 500 is not a lot. It's like a penny. In internet numbers. We'll call them internet numbers. It's like hardly anything. And there are people out there with tens and hundreds of thousands of viewers. And then there are even cigar channels with tens and thousands of viewers. So we're small, but we're quality. And I believe that is why we're growing. And while we're small, we're attracting, see, I don't really care that we're small because we're attracting a niche crowd within the cigar community. And those are the people that are interested in more than just which cigar should I smoke, which is the best cigar I can stick in my mouth. Please hurry, tell me. I want to know which one to smoke now. I gotta go to the store and grab it. I fucking want a cigar. These are the people that want to know. These are the people that love cigars, that really want to know about cigars, because that's how I am, and that's why these episodes are as long as they are, and that's why we get into the issues we get into, because it's all about cigar knowledge. It's all about everything cigars. It's not just about stick it in your mouth, light it up, and call it a day. So I'm thrilled with the level of comments we're getting. The Monty 2 was the most ever. Been getting a lot more comments than usual. Emails, great. Keep them coming. I do want to encourage new subscribers, or even if you've been around for a while and just been kind of sitting on the sidelines, and start talking. This is great. It's turning into a little club. People are starting to get to know each other, and it's really a lot of fun. The comments have been great. I hardly, for every 100 positive comments I get one asshole. And speaking of how we're small but growing and attracting a small crowd, and a lot of people may say, I'm at 500, you know what, maybe my videos are too long, people don't have time to watch them, they don't want to watch them. See, I don't give a shit. I need as much time as I need to say what I need to say, what I think the type of people I want watching want to hear. There's one guy, he comments, he goes, oh, get to the review already. Dude, you know what? Part 4, last 3 minutes, there's the review, okay? It'll tell you the final thoughts and the final rating. Bang. All right? Off with you then. Because let me recommend something to you. Or let me educate you on something. Cigars in general, other than just smoking them, have everything to do with patience. There are so many aspects in cigar culture, in the cigar world, let's call it, that require patience. One of the biggest ones being aging. Patience always pays off. Aging, especially with Cuban cigars, usually yields a much finer cigar than what first comes out of the factory, but it requires a lot of patience. Even seasoning a humidor without opening it every 3 minutes requires patience. Waiting for your goddamn fucking package to come from Switzerland requires a lot of fucking patience. So you don't have patience, then this hobby is probably not for you. This show is definitely not for you. And I would also recommend, because I did take a look at your page and saw that all you have there is like 600 different gun videos. I think you need a different hobby, man, because that's another one that should probably be coupled with some level of fucking, patience. Jesus. Anyway. So if you're sitting there saying, get to the fucking review already, this show is not for you. It's really not. If you're sitting there and thinking, you know what, I gotta run out and stick a cigar in my fucking mouth and I just want somebody else's opinion on what a good cigar is and I want to make sure I don't smoke a piece of shit based on what somebody else says, then again, this show is not for you. And if you're some sort of fucking gun nut who, you know, shoots watermelons upstate with an AK-47 with a cigar hanging out of his mouth, again, this show is probably not for you. If you are, however, sitting there right now laughing your ass off, then you are one of my viewers. And that's the way it is. So, without further ado, as we've given all the reasons to why this is a special episode, let us present the special cigar I have chosen. And there she is, all on her own, away from the box, the El Rey Del Mundo Choix de L'epoque. King of the world, choice of age. Amazing, amazing little cigar. And to me, the perfect springtime smoke. There's only one other that comes close, and that's the La Gloria Cubana Metal de Oro series. Amazing springtime cigars. You know, it's kind of sad that this brand, only a few years ago, was on its last legs. And down to 2 vitolas would have died out completely were it not for regional editions causing a resurgence in the popularity of some of the less desired brands. You know, it seems to me that the world palate has changed very much, and not really for the better. I mean, it always seems that most smokers want these, you know, nicotine-ridden, palate-busting cigars. On the American market, the strong Nicaraguan cigars are the most popular. And even around the world, as Cubans are the norm around the world, while they're not in America, they are around the world. And so, even with Cuban cigars, people prefer the much stronger cigars. And what that does is causes the sales for cigars like these to drop way down to the point that they're not profitable and the brand becomes discontinued. Wow. I can't get over the foot of this cigar. I mean, it just looks like such an amazing roll. The bunching is fantastic, you know, and it's always hard for me to get the light right on these, but it's just great. It's such a great example of what the foot of a Cuban cigar should look like. Okay, so here we are, my favorite moment, time to light up. Got my brand history here. It's going to be interesting. El Rey Del Mundo is very interesting. And we got a pile of great viewer emails and comments that touch on a whole bunch of different issues, including the embargo again, since people had a lot of comments on that, some vendor questions, some customs questions, and some interesting questions to do with aged tobacco, Cuban tobacco, a whole bunch of different stuff. So you're definitely going to enjoy this if you're into cigars, that's for sure. I'm going to give this a really fine cut, just the cap on this one. And that's that. Match here. So twangy, very tangy. Tangy, a lot of cedar, wood, you know, a dusting of earth. In the roof, some vaguely, you know, sweet type notes. Not, again, not sugary sweet, but sweet type notes. Hints of almost like a cinnamony type nougat. Some people might just call it cocoa bean, but no, there's an after effect to it that's a lot like cinnamon. Very interesting. Subtle salt, not a lot of salt. You know, the pre-draw almost tastes like it's going to be creamy. It's just, wow, what a interesting, complex pre-draw. Which at this point makes it almost 5 years old. In August it'll be 5 years old. So 4 going on 5. Oh, you can smell like this baking bread and the spices and just really amazing Cuban tobacco smell, aroma. Ooh, wow. Oh, very interesting. Woody, very woody, a bit peppery, a little bit of spice on the light. Some deep, there's even some earthy flavor in there. It's like a little woody and earthy. Very interesting. Very floral. Great draw. Just giving off beautiful plumes of smoke. Wonderful. Wonderful. Nice mild kind of twangy flavor. A lot of this cedar and almost like this, like spices, like this cinnamon type thing. Very, very interesting. Very nice.